Hello, welcome to the Snap UK.
He's been waiting a long time for that.
Yeah, Gary's learning. Welcome to the Snap UK. We're back at the doghouse. Drinks are opening. Join us.
Apparently this is a thing, so I'm going with it.
Well, it's because Gary's listened to one episode of this fucking series that had cans open. He's like, oh,
We're doing that now.
we're doing that now. You're like, yeah, we've talked about this all.
Before, I was never allowed to open a drink when we were podcasting. It was all serious.
It was. No, we're not.
So I like this
No
change.
rustling, though.
No
rustling.
rustling. No snacks.
No snacks. No fumbling.
Well, do what you want under the table. It's fine. As long as I can't see it. It's cold. You know, I'm sure I can't see it. Anyway, so once again, not a full house.
No.
I thought that today we might have a full house.
Yeah.
I thought
No, it's not going to happen.
I was looking at the rundown. He's like, "Oh, we've got the pool scores, whatever we call it."
Yeah. The classified polls results.
That's right. Griff hadn't cried off. Yeah, I was like, "Oh."
Ah, yeah. No, but then
And I was actually
And you were
here.
like, "Yeah." As
Yeah.
long as you did at the doghouse. I was like, "Oh." And then
So anyway, after we had that, Griff cried off, and Paul turns out isn't around
For 3 weeks. He didn't just call off tonight.
No, he's called off to 2 weeks
for the rest of the month.
Yes. So that's fun. But luckily, we had a fun weekend of football to talk about, and Gary can talk about the rugby.
It was a great game of rugby. I was keeping an eye on the NFL, but the rugby was, only happens every 4 years, John.
Rugby happens all the time. It's fucking
Not like
boring.
that, it doesn't.
No. But anyway, so the biggest news of the weekend, there are no undefeated teams anymore.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. You know,
I mean, I kind of don't, but I do.
I don't like that.
Why not?
Because, it's just fun waiting to see when they're going to lose, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's what I like. It's taken away that that apprehension of like, oh God, is it going to be this week? No, we've got it over and done with.
It's just fun guessing each week, isn't it? So
yeah, I'm sort of with Jim. I also I think the longest undefeated team is always the one you know's not going to win the.
well,
Super
that's
Bowl.
the other thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Remember the Panthers did it, and they went like 15-1. It was the last game they lost.
Yeah,
And everyone was like, bound to win. No, they fucked the Super Bowl up big time.
the Steelers a few years ago were 12-0 or something, and then absolutely
Chiefs always used to go, didn't they?
Yeah.
8, 10, 11-0, and then bomb in the playoffs.
bombing the playoffs. So, so the 49ers started the day at 5-0, and then were stopped by the Browns with PJ Walker.
PJ Walker had literally nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Oh no.
He gave the ball to Alvin Kamara, and he threw it
Alvin
to
Kamara.
Ford.
No, Kareem
Kareem
Hunt.
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
It was another running back I'd stashed in fantasy.
They had two running backs. Both were great.
Yeah.
And
He found Amari Cooper a couple of times for some nice plays.
some very nice plays.
One in particular was very nice.
Yeah. One that sort of reminds you that there is still a player in Amari Cooper.
Yeah, when he overthrew Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper did really well to catch it.
Yeah. But other than that, so is there anything we can read into this, or was it just a bad day?
49ers almost won it.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Yeah.
They had a kick, 41-yard kick at the end to win 2019.
And we could have gone for another play to get that closer as well. They were worried about getting pushed backwards, weren't they, and out of range. But you would normally expect a 41-yarder to go over.
Yeah. I think if they would have won this, I think we would have been sitting here and going, they got away with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's almost, you kind of get that monkey off your back about losing. It's like, all right, Brock Purdy's had an ordinary game. He's human after all. Great. Move on.
Well, he had an ordinary game because he was missing some key pieces like any other quarterback. Now, obviously, last week, Jib, you decided to put a curse on the team. Yeah, so
4 minutes in.
I will take that.
So
yeah,
I did
yeah,
listen, and if like I get accused of doing all sorts of things by buying shirts occasionally, and you decided to say that we've not had any major injuries to any of our major players.
Yeah,
It's
three
always
major players.
It's
then
just
go
always
down.
how soon after you buy the shirt they get injured.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like instant.
I don't buy any shirts now, but it was I listened to the podcast, which I don't always do, but I did listen. And I was like, Jim, what are you saying?
Yeah, I kind of regret.
And then I saw
it.
Trent Williams leaving in a boot, and I was like, Jim, what have you done?
Yeah, so we had Trent Williams leaving in a boot. Christian McCaffrey didn't finish the game. Deebo Samuel barely started the game. Apparently,
All set to play on.
all set to play on Monday.
Yeah, we've discussed this. Yeah, me and John.
Yeah.
So
Because literally, I sat down. He'd mentioned his doll's house, and then started going off, going, "A fucking Jim," mentioning the 9 ninjas. I was like, "It's fine, mate." Like, because of the long weekend, you haven't done an injury report yet, but they're all saying you're fit to go Monday.
yeah.
So
I think if you lose one of Christian McCaffrey and Deebo, I think you can get away with it. Losing both of them in the game, I think that was tough. I think that was part of the problem. Brock Purdy did overthrow Brandon Ayuk a few times. Ayuk missed a couple of what should have been catchable passes. It wasn't their best outing. It's just a bad day at the office all around.
Browns defense. It was
defense.
a wet,
actually,
horrible day.
Yeah.
A Browns defense. We had seven possessions in the second half. Yeah, we scored 7 points.
Yeah.
The Niners, they've had one of the best, most productive offenses, and the Browns defense just turned up.
I think
and when you look at the pieces they've got there, they're entitled to.
Yeah.
They're at home in a wet, cold Cleveland, and the Niners just couldn't get past that defense. So
let's give some credit there to Jim Schwartz. He dialed up the absolute perfect game plan for him, and it worked. And everyone on that defense did their job. Myles Garrett was an absolute monster. The 49ers aren't going to play Myles Garrett every week.
No.
So, that's not going to be as big an issue. But, yeah, maybe there is kind of elements of his game plan which other teams will look at and try and emulate, whether they've got the personnel to emulate it or not.
Well, it's, as well,
TBC.
it's the lowest yardage in the Shanahan era, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Offensive yards. So
Kittle as well, like absolutely invisible.
Yeah. One catch for 1 yard.
Yeah, I know.
and they managed to run the ball better than we did. That's what it came down to. Their defense was really good. They probably won the game, and they ran the ball better than we did. That's it. That's the game in a nutshell. So I think the 49ers, they're 5-1. They're playoff bound, aren't they? Unless something goes absolutely crazy wrong. Yeah,
catastrophic at this
They're
point.
already 2 games ahead of Seattle.
That's what I mean. So they look playoff bound. So actually, some hurdles, some obstacles on the way.
Not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing in making sure we're ready for the playoffs. We can already start to see the top teams in the NFC that are going to be coming up against us. The Eagles from last year, the Lions, which I never thought I'd say.
Even today, I never thought you'd say it.
I was a bit surprised you rolled out the Lions there.
Although the Lions do have now no running backs, so we'll see how it goes in a few weeks.
Well, yes.
Can't get by without having a little dig at them.
Well, luckily for the 49ers, I think you've got the Vikings Friday. Monday night. Kirk
Prime time.
Kirk.
Good
Prime
bounce
time
back.
Kirk and no Justin Jefferson still.
Yeah.
So
Are we at home as well?
it's in Minnesota,
It's in Minnesota.
but that Minnesota defense sucks. But yeah, luckily, the Eagles then went and lost in the evening. After, late.
It's really
late
nice
games.
of Robert Saleh to do us a favour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mentioned it last week that they're 5-1. At that point last week, they were 5-0, and I've not been impressed with the Eagles at all, really, this season.
I was thinking of a
lot of injuries.
Yeah, I was thinking of a segment we could do is like which teams are better and worse than their records.
We've done that before, haven't we? Yeah.
And I think the Philadelphia Eagles are worse than their record at the moment.
Yeah.
Because they've not looked convincing. Jalen Hurts probably had his worst game as a starter. 28 of 45. They also struggled to run the ball. DeAndre Swift had a terrible game. 10 carries, 18 yards, no touchdowns. But neither did Gainwell and Boston Scott. And like the Browns, the Jets' defense
Hurts has got to work. He's got to work out how to use Swift. Yeah. Swift is not, he's not going to just get yardage on the ground all the time. You've got to involve him in the pass game.
Yeah, he did have 8 catches for 40 yards.
That is what he's for.
Yeah. But again, let's not take it away from Robert Saleh and that Jets defense. It absolutely dominated, and they only scored 20 points themselves. But because they could keep one of the best offenses in the league down to 14 points, that's how they got away with the win.
Should we be surprised with the Jets, though, or not? No. Because the Jets have actually, they've gone up against some big teams so far.
They're 3-3 in the season.
And if you look at their schedule, they've had a really tough schedule, yeah?
Yeah.
So, the Bills, Cowboys, who got off to a really good start, the Chiefs,
They're not getting blown out by these teams either. They could have beaten the Patriots.
They should have beaten the Chiefs.
Should have beaten the Chiefs. Okay, Broncos was a bit of a gimme. And then they've gone against the Eagles. But, if you would have looked, even with Aaron Rodgers, I think if you would have looked at this and gone, you're going to go 3-3 into the bye, I think you would have been, all right. Yeah.
And then after the bye, they go Giants, Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah.
So is there anything for them to stop them being 5-4?
I don't like 6-3 could be.
I think 5-4 would be fair though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
We saw last year if you get over 500, you're in with a shout at the playoffs, aren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially I say the AFC is tough, but there's no reason why the Patriots are terrible.
They've still got to play later this year. The Texans, the Commanders, the Jets,
Falcons.
They get to play the Patriots again. Oh, the Jets. Sorry, I meant
Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins. I didn't mean the Commanders.
Yeah,
Browns. So
there's winnable games there. And given, I guess the question that everyone's going to be asking is, Aaron Rodgers has been seen on the field without crutches, throwing the ball around. If they can just keep in contention, there's a glimmer of hope, I think.
That's it. They've just got to be aiming for just above 500, haven't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Chase down a playoff space and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that'll keep Salah in a job as well.
If you go into those last 3 games and Aaron Rodgers is fit by some miracle, and you've got the Commanders, Browns, and Patriots, and you've got to win 2 of the 3 of those to get into playoffs, I think that's doable.
Yeah, I agree.
The Jets roster is amazing. Just because you've lost Rodgers,
the rest of it,
the rest of it's great. Breece Hall, is
they played this game about their top 3 cornerbacks.
Yes, yeah.
Which they lost DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner just before the match, and they still, you're not playing journeyman wide receivers. You're playing AJ Brown and Devonta Smith.
Yeah,
they're 2 good receivers.
But Jalen Hurts did fall apart in the second half of this game as well.
His last interception was just terrible.
Yeah,
probably the worst throw I've ever seen him make, and I was a detractor of his for some time.
Yeah, there's some because I know Purdy lost Trent Williams, Jalen Hurts lost Lane Johnson. Johnson looks like he won't play this weekend, but he'll be back soon. So
do you think they've become a little bit AJ Brown centric?
Yes,
because Devonta Smith is not having the season he had last year.
No, he's not.
No, they've brought in Julio this season.
That's right. Yeah.
Now,
so the practice squad officially,
yeah, but he's replacing Quez Watkins, who's gone out. He's gone out injured.
He's injured. I mean, asking Julio Jones to be anything other than a 3rd or 4th receiver is a bit much, but
he's just there for little slant runs, isn't he?
If he just distracts,
I think he's a glorified tight end.
Yeah,
well that's it. But that's not a bad thing because their red zone is appalling this season.
Yeah, but Julio doesn't score touchdowns.
No, but
he was never the touchdown machine.
But no, the whole point of him at the Falcons was you knew when they got to the red zone they were aiming for Julio Jones, so you just covered Julio Jones. Now he's got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. If he can't add to this, then he should be giving up. I mean, he's 34 and a wide receiver. It's probably time.
This is his last opportunity for that ring, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. But
I think they've got to get that offense moving. Get Swift involved more where they can. And Devonta Smith, you've got to see more out of him. We're not seeing enough. He's not had an explosive game at all yet this season.
Not season, but it's season's still young. So, but yeah, it's.
But you're right. They're at 5-1, but they don't look like they are a 5-1 team, do they?
No,
they don't look anywhere near as strong as last year.
No. You look at their results. All right, they beat the Patriots by 5 points. That's meh. Vikings, Bucks, Commanders, and Rams. Those are there are 5 teams that they should be beating and should be beating well. And all of those, bar the Buccaneers, they were all one score match. And the Rams, sorry, they're one.
So are they just this year's Vikings?
I think they've got more than that, but we'll have to wait and see how they move forward.
Let's remember they did lose both coordinators. Is it just an adjustment period?
Possibly. We'll see.
They've got the Dolphins next.
Yeah, it's a tough game. Really tough.
In Miami.
No, they're at home.
It's in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Still,
that's a tough game.
Yeah.
Yeah, really tough. So the other 5-1 teams. So the Chiefs played on Thursday night.
They're just the Chiefs, aren't they?
They were once again they're not very good.
But what they are is a team who has learned when to peak.
Yeah,
this is true.
That's what I think it is. Yeah. Andy Reid had the best team in the league for the first 75% of the season for about 5 years, and he's realised he's got to be the best at the end of the season. Andy Reid, he doesn't care about being the best team right now. He secures his playoff, then he starts looking at seedings, then he starts working out how he's going to win a championship.
Yeah,
that's how it is now in Kansas. How many times did the Patriots look average at this time of the year?
Yeah. They always started off slowly.
Loads of times. So I'm not worried about the Chiefs at all.
No, I'm not worried, but
they just look normal.
He's a bit stuttering so far. The Lions. Everybody but Gary's favourite, the Lions.
Fucking love Jared Goff at the moment.
Do you know what? It's not like it's just you all get on the hype train a little bit easy. That's all. Like
we were the hype train.
like Hard Knocks. You got to know everybody. Like I say, a few people said a few speeches, and look, they're playing some good football now. So I'll give them some kudos. Yeah. But I wasn't going to just jump on that train just because they were on TV. It's a bit fickle.
Well, no, but we were already on that before then.
I know.
You like Dan Campbell and he'd bite your kneecaps.
Yeah, I know you did. So I'm happy for you boys. I'm happy for you boys. I'm happy for the Detroit fans that they might actually have a football team they can be proud of. For
the first time in 100 years.
So I'm happy for everyone. I'm not going to be silly happy though. It's just But they are playing well though.
Jared Goff, someone. You just mentioned Jared Goff.
Yeah.
He's so good, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah. 30 from 44, 353 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
So what round did Jared Goff go in?
First round.
Literally the first pick.
Yeah. Right? That's my point, right?
He should be good.
Has Jared Goff been to a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And then did the Rams then just give him away?
More or less, yeah.
Right.
They didn't give him
not for very much.
They got Matt Stafford.
Yeah. And they gave away a load of other first-round picks. Yeah. So they gave him away for not very much. Jared Goff was never the problem in the Rams. He was not. He was never a drama. Was he explosive? No. But was he really the issue? A load of people were down on Jared Goff. I like my average quarterbacks. Alex Smith.
Kirk
Cousins.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Don't mind a bit of Teddy. On a cold night.
Yeah. But I do think he'd lost his way at LA.
I really thought you were going to say love him feeling then.
No. I think when he went to Detroit, we all presumed it'd be one season and then the draft.
I did not agree with that. The person who took him to Detroit was the person who got him signed at the Rams, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The same person that scouted him. So I didn't ever believe that.
Right. A majority of people
I was on that train early.
You were on that train early. But you weren't on the Lions train early.
No, of course not, no.
It's just Jared Goff, not the Lions.
Just Jared Goff, all over Jared Goff.
Jameson Williams played.
Yeah.
2 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. So is that 2 games, 2 touchdowns?
2 games, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches now. But
great, actually, his touchdown catch was great.
Superb.
Yeah.
It is exciting to get him involved, because if you saw him at college, what a player he was, just electric to watch. if he's back, they've got an extra couple of weeks because of his gambling ban got rescinded. So it's good.
Garrett's right when he mentioned earlier they now have a running back problem.
Yes,
because David Montgomery was looking brilliant for them.
Yeah.
He's now injured, questionable for the next game. Jameer Gibbs is still questionable. That leaves Craig Reynolds and Zonovan Knight. By the way, Craig Reynolds, when he had a massive block for St. Browns. That was a thing.
I mean, there's no fantasy points for that block.
Should be,
but it's absolutely. He blocked a guy into the other defender. That's how great a block it was.
Early nominee for Sweetest Player of the Week.
Oh yeah,
a block.
It was such a block. I think as well because some people were watching the rugby and stuff. It was people weren't exactly talking that much about NFL in our text group. And then suddenly the block happens, and everyone's like, people going, "Did you see that block? It was fucking great."
It was great.
Yeah, but actually, we'll get on to the Lions later, maybe. As well, the Dolphins. So Devon Achan. I know it's his name, but I preferred A-Chain.
Yeah.
Devon Achan is injured. But luckily, Raheem Mostert is still there.
When have we pronounced names as players want them to be pronounced? We normally always do it the way we prefer.
Exactly.
So can we not just keep calling him A-Chain?
Yeah, that's probably true, yeah. So Devon A-Chain. He's out injured, but Raheem Mostert scores a hat-trick. because
he's also really quick.
Really, really good. Tyreek Hill goes down injured, and you're like, oh no, that's because, and then no, it turns out 10 minutes later he's back.
Do you know the favourite thing I read about the Dolphins this week is about Tua and how he learnt jiu-jitsu in the summer to learn how to fall.
Yeah,
you see that? And I watched this video, and if you watch him, he's been taught how to fall by spinning rather than going down, so he doesn't get whiplash and concussion.
Yeah,
so apparently he's actually done some training in jiu-jitsu so he can fall properly, so it won't hurt him as much, which I thought was mad. And then there was some clips of him in games where he was doing he was trying to get into a roll rather than just a solid hit onto the ground.
That. Yeah,
I thought it was really good.
I always like those stories about how other players look to other sports to try and improve their own kind of game and identify weaknesses in their own game. And you see it especially the quarterbacks. You're like, all right, I'm going to figure out how to fall. I'm going to go play baseball and figure out how to slide.
I was about to say, Anthony Richardson at the moment, he could learn quite a bit from learning how to slide.
Exactly.
I just thought it was great.
Mac Jones could learn how to be a quarterback.
But if Tua actually stays fit for the season, how much of a shot have the Dolphins got?
Oh, huge.
It's just
in the way that, absolutely. The way the Bills are flattering to deceive at the moment. I think even though they're leading the AFC East, there's no reason why they can't win the AFC East and then be one of the top seeds going into the AFC East. There's a good chance the AFC has to go through Miami.
All the 5-1 teams, including the Lions, are, I'm going to use the word, definite contenders at this point.
I think we're
as long as you're not calling the Raiders contenders, I think you're fine to say that word.
No, but I mean, if
they
you
are
were going to list 8 teams that could win the Super Bowl, you would put all of the 5-1 teams in there, including the Lions.
Well,
maybe not with these running back injuries, but before that, if you'd have,
well, I think because they're not long-term injuries, so I think if they can ride Reynolds for a couple of weeks, until Gibbs and Montgomery are back. I said it last week. I said the Lions might be the second best team in the NFC and probably third best team in the NFL right now. And
it's interesting, isn't it? Because the Dolphins, if they lose Tua, then it's a problem, isn't it? But
if any team loses their starting,
exactly. So, But if they can keep Tua fit, you look at their offensive weapons are ridiculous, and their defense has improved loads as well.
And it's going to get better when Ramsey comes in.
Yeah, they can just the Dolphins. We can't talk about the level of speed on the offense, but they just score so fucking quickly.
Yeah.
But Carolina were 14-0 up, and then literally 5 minutes later,
what the Chiefs were doing 2
years
ago.
Yeah.
You could never even start to believe because
nice. Yeah, like that callback. You just blink and suddenly, you're 2 touchdowns down. And it's like, well, that's that. And
took me a moment, but yeah, I got out.
Yeah. I got it straight away. I'll never forget those words. Don't worry.
Almost.
Well, let's talk about the. Oh, unless someone was going to think.
I was going to say there's only one winless team now in the NFL, which is the Panthers.
Yeah.
I don't see it getting any easier for them, unfortunately. They've got the Texans next week. Actually, they've got a bye. Sorry, then they got the Texans. Yeah, they got a bye. Then they got.
Well,
they
need a bye, don't they?
Desperately need that bye. And the Texans playing well at the moment.
I think that I really like watching the Texans, and I never thought I'd say that at the start of this season.
It's fair. I hear you.
That's all to do with the quarterback.
They have got the Colts in a couple of weeks, and the Bears. So
they have found a quarterback there, haven't they?
The Colts.
No, the Texans.
The Texans. Oh God, yeah, the Texans.
That's what I'm saying. The Texans.
CJ Stroud
is a player.
Yeah.
That's why you like watching the Texans.
Yeah.
Because he can do things that they haven't had a quarterback since Deshaun Watson was not touching people doing.
Yeah, true.
And then the Texans were also fun to watch, weren't they?
Yeah, that's it.
And Deshaun Watson was throwing bombs to
DeAndre Hopkins.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. So
and as well on the
TJ Watt,
on the defense, they had JJ Watt. This year they've got Will Anderson and like D'Amico Ryans.
And this is the thing with the way the league is set up. You get the odd dynasty where they get to find someone who will do the right thing for the team, or they can build around it and they work it out. So you get every now and again 4 or 5 teams that are great for 5 to 6, 7 years. Or the Patriots were much longer, but that was just a weird little anomaly, wasn't it? Yeah. Normally you get a group of 4 or 5 that battle it out for 4 or 5 years, but you still get this real churn of teams going from first to last or from fifth to last, every year. That's what makes the league interesting, isn't it? You just got no idea which one's going to come out of the pack and be, right up there this year.
That's it. And
I think Brady was saying it's so many small details. Every team is working really hard. Every team has got great people. Every team has got great coaches. All it takes is for one little bit to go off, and you end up being the Patriots this year. Do you know what I mean? It's they've still got Belichick, and they're the Patriots this year. They're shit. So, but then you've got other teams that just a couple of little things might have changed, a couple of little pieces might have changed, and they jump 10 places.
And like we say all the time in the draft, you can be choosing between 2 quarterbacks. And let's use the Texans and Panthers. They picked first and second. Panthers are 0-6. Texans are 3-3. Yes, the quarterback does make a huge difference, but then also you can look at coaching. Panthers have got a more experienced coach. D'Amico Ryans has come in from the 49ers organisation, learned a lot there, and brought all that to the Texans. And they're getting more. He's getting more out of that team in terms of the levels of talent on that team than I think Frank Reich is getting in Carolina.
How good are the Shanahan disciples?
Really fucking good.
I'm really good.
When you look at the Belichick disciples, who are wank.
Yeah, I mean you can argue
Vrabel's good.
Vrabel's been good, but apart from that, there's been quite a few.
Well, there's been quite a few that are appalling.
Did Vrabel ever coach under Belichick? Though?
Yes,
he did. Did he?
Yeah,
fair enough. But that's one of few. But you're right. You look at Shanahan. You got LaFleur in Green Bay, Mike McDaniel in Dolphins. Now D'Amico Ryans in Texas. You can
Robert Saleh.
You can argue Sean McVay.
Yeah.
So it's actually you look and you go, fucking hell, these Shanahan disciples are, because what was Clinker Nuts? Was he a McVay one?
Yeah,
and he fucked up, didn't he?
He's just shit, wasn't he?
But I just thought it was interesting, because you've seen some other coaches and coordinators move across from the Patriots, and McDaniels isn't pulling up trees at the Raiders, is he? So, and who was the guy who was at the Lions who had to go back? Patricia. I just thought it was interesting, like it just shows that actually, is that a sign that Belichick, I know this isn't on the agenda, but that Belichick has lost touch with the game a little bit.
We said that last week.
It doesn't even just show in his team's performance, it shows in his disciples' performance.
Yeah.
Is what he's preaching behind the times. I don't know, it's interesting.
I also think he probably has too much control at the Patriots. He doesn't delegate enough, and I think that's probably why some of the coaches come out of that system thinking they know it all, and then actually you put them into that coaching role, and they're not as prepared. I think you kind of look at the 49ers, and especially on the defensive side of things, like Robert Saleh had control of the defense. Like Kyle Shanahan, I think, would be very open to say he's not a defensive guy. I think we can all comfortable to say he delegates that whole defense to Robert Saleh. Then he delegated that whole defense to D'Amico Ryan. They've then gone on and had success. I feel that Bill Belichick is a bit more of a control freak. But even on the offense, I think
as well, it means he also can't get the right people in because they know
they're not going to have control.
Yeah. So I think
he had like a core team, didn't he, with him for like 8-9 years. Do you know what I mean? And they were winning, so they didn't want to leave. So, but then now it's all chop and change, isn't it, all the time? So, like I say, I know it wasn't on our to talk about list, but it just kind of came up.
At some point, it is going to be because it's. I think it deserves a deep dive.
No, I'm picking up on last week. I
think it does deserve a deep dive.
Yeah, but picking up on last week, I still think he does deserve the right to walk away with what he's achieved.
God, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I know you're different, but
no, it's fine. I see where you're coming from on that. I would kind of counter that and say, sport's not for the faint-hearted.
And that's true. But they were nothing.
It's a business. At the end of the day, sports now, especially at this level, it's a business, and the business is winning, and he's not winning. I think you can look at the way the Patriots are playing. It's dire. Like,
they're tanking now.
They are terrible.
I don't think they're intending to tank. I think
I don't think they are intending.
I don't think they've got any choice in the matter. I think they're just tanking.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's a conscious decision like it was in other places which we won't mention. Miami,
a former Bill disciple. So, actually, one of the better ones, bizarrely.
Oddly enough.
So, what else? Elsewhere, the London game. The final London game. The Ravens beat the Titans. So Willis came in for Tannehill when the Titans were just picking up a bit of momentum. The Ravens got to that bit where Ravens do, where they just stop playing. And then Malik Willis came in and just decided, I'm just going to be sacked for every play.
They drafted Will Levis, and they've already said Malik Willis wasn't the answer. Hence drafting Will Levis, and they're not giving him a go. I kind of think,
how bad is he?
How bad is he? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if Willis is just going to come in to be hit, because as well, you looked at some of the things. They've obviously just told him, like, you're going to only operate half the field because he comes in, he looks right, and you're thinking, you look at the replay, and you're like, DeAndre Hopkins is over there in 20 yards of space, mate. Like, just throw it somewhere in his direction. Yeah. But it's appalling to watch.
They lost the game and deserve to lose, but I don't think the Ravens are. And again, coming back to, are they as good as their record? 4-2. It's not a brilliant record, but
they're such an AFC North team.
Do you know what I would say with the Ravens? We've been saying it for probably a few years now. They're well coached. They're well drilled. They are very good at lots of things, but they are fucking dull to watch.
They should be better.
Yeah, but they're just not. Their offensive weapons are just not exciting. They haven't been for fucking years. They expect Lamar Jackson to run for 90 yards a game and to run in for 2 touchdowns and throw one. That's it. That's the plan. And it's fucking boring as shit to watch.
It is.
I would not go and watch a Ravens game.
No, I don't support.
No, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't be excited to watch them.
If you had a choice between putting that on TV and 50% of the rest of the league.
Oh, I'll do some DIY. I think
that's desperate.
No, but honestly, I think they're that bad to watch.
They are fun
they
for
just,
like 3 minutes of the game. That's the thing that, like, I know, it's
every game they eke out the result, but not like in a fun way, not in a 38-36 way or something. It's
21-17. You're like,
it's really fucking boring, honestly.
I did feel sorry for the crowd. This did look like a boring game.
It was
six field
just
goals
as it got good. Tannehill got injured.
Yeah, Tucker got 6 field goals, didn't he? Yeah,
and that's it. They intercepted Lamar. They looked like they could move the ball, and then his ankle was taken from underneath him, and they just stopped, and it was not great to watch.
It's 3 not great London games again, isn't it?
Nah,
the second one was okay.
I was going to say the Bills Jags was decent enough at the end.
Yeah,
that last quarter was good, but you're right. The first 3 quarters was dire.
It needed the Bills to turn up.
Yeah.
How much of it do you think is because you normally just watch Red Zone these days? You don't actually watch games of NFL.
No, because I still quite like watching a full game.
I do as well. I'm asking Jim whether he doesn't. I just wonder.
I normally watch the evening game.
Yeah,
I normally watch that
because we're in a different society now, aren't we? Where we just want to consume like as much as quickly as possible. So I wonder if like how much, because everyone loves Red Zone. Yeah, but like I like to sometimes, especially if the Niners are on, I'll quite often just watch that because you get the updates of the scores anyway, didn't you, in the break? So, but I just wonder how much of that is because actually you're being forced to sit there and watch a full game. Some people are a bit like.
Sometimes I find Red Zone a bit too much. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
like,
I do.
It's almost like overload, isn't it?
Yeah, I just wondered.
Yeah,
what you thought.
I do agree. I think a lot of people will struggle with a full game because of the excitement of Red Zone. I just find it so after about 3 hours gives me an headache, and I don't know what any team's doing anymore.
I do the same. I often watch the 9 o'clock game that's on.
Yeah. Same.
Watch Red Zone for the first couple of hours, see if I'm going to lose at fantasy, and then I'll watch a full game.
But so Von Miller this week said that the Tottenham's pitch is crap, basically.
I spent a few million on it.
It doesn't. Well,
if you watch the little fancy videos of them changing it all around.
But when you watch it, you do realise that it is just a carpet on metal, effectively, because they move the pitch out, and then they put the carpet down on this concrete base, and you're like, that looks like it would hurt if you.
But this has been the first year that I can recall that there's been kind of consistent complaints. I just wonder if it correlates to them complaining about turf versus grass.
I was going to say, there's been a big thing in the US, hasn't there, about it why aren't we getting turf everywhere? Yeah. Why can't we afford it? We do it for like football over here.
Because the World Cup's going to the States. All the World Cup stadiums have to be grass.
Yeah. Which is what they prefer.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if this is just kind of senior players making another.
Is it also because three senior players got injured for the Bills that week?
Didn't help, did it?
No. But like MetLife's had those issues, hasn't it, for a few years?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember Nick Bosa going down the other year.
Yeah.
And that was. Yeah.
And then I think a couple of other Sterling Shepard pulled up, didn't he? Just
made no difference to his numbers.
No, but like I just remember that there was. It seemed to be a couple of players a week going down from MetLife's pitch. So that it's
Giants wide receiver couldn't catch the ball because of an injury. All right.
Sorry.
God, he's such a cunt today, isn't he?
You did say that before we started.
I did warn you.
Yeah. So elsewhere, Bills stutter again, only just beating the Giants.
And what a game this was.
Oh, yeah. It was
14-9.
14-9. And actually...
It was a prime-time game.
Yeah. I get it. Like, the Giants fan base is a big audience, but fuck me. Like, I don't want to watch...
You were good last year, weren't you?
Yeah, that's it.
You had some real shoots of recovery and then, you obviously had the new coach bounce, and then this year it's just been like... depressing.
We have
there's not much to cling on to.
No, and like the fact that who's the offensive lineman that like on the video went
Pew
straight from the
off the couch.
You're like,
that was brilliant.
Yeah, like the
he played really well.
He did. The offensive line is a shambles though. It is. I mean, it's 5 players I've never heard of, effectively, and that's not helping.
No. I mean,
but as well, I mean, how bad the game was. The final play effectively was Waller being held for what I know it's clutching straws and
didn't Dayball fucking go mad at Tyrod as well on the sideline at some point as well?
He went mad at the non-hold.
Was it?
Yeah, there was a non-hold call.
Yeah,
which was
just saw him kicking off.
It was pretty
at Tyrod.
It was pretty bad, but they happen every game. So there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, the Giants' defense was so bad that the Bills actually averaged 4.4 per carry.
Wow.
Yeah,
and they scored 14 points.
They scored 14 whole points.
It's
Bills are not coming together either, are they?
Well, they can.
Is this the same argument as the Chiefs?
Yeah.
They're winning games.
They scored 40 points on the Dolphins.
Is it London hangover, do you reckon, this week?
Possibly.
They didn't take their bye, did they, straight after the London game? So
yeah.
Might have been a little bit of that.
Could be, yeah.
It could be. Let's see.
Well, they flew over late, and they flew straight back, so maybe it was just a little bit of that.
They're staying in the Northeast next week. They're at the Patriots.
Oh, okay.
So they'll
lose that.
They'll score 50 points this week.
They could lose that.
They could. They won't.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I'm with Gary on this one. That's one they could just trip themselves over on.
Yeah.
You cannot write anything when it comes to divisional games. There's so much more involved in it in terms of how much they know each other, travelling, the fan bases, the atmosphere. Divisional games are different,
Cool.
And going to Gillette, it will still be difficult.
When it's 39 next week, I will remind you of this.
Well,
so because I can't see Mac Jones leading a touchdown.
It's true.
Thing at the last few weeks.
It's been 30 years. I put this in the group.
Yeah.
30 years since New York won in New York. I like that stat.
We put New York Giants.
I did not like this stat.
New York
I think
Giants
it's a stupid play on semantics.
It is, yeah. That's why I like it.
If you want to call
It's
New Jersey,
New Jersey,
then call them the New Jersey Giants. It's just semantics, Jim.
It's geography.
I mean, technically, the Niners haven't won in San Francisco for 10 years.
Exactly.
Fair point.
Exactly. So,
yeah. Well, we've already mentioned the Texans. The Cowboys beat the Chargers. I can't be honest to talk about it because it was a really...
It's another unconvincing win, isn't it?
You can tell you how bad it was because the only thing I've seen about it, apart from watch the game, was the Chargers fan who was caught celebrating and really, really feeling the loss. And you're like, was it that good a game then? That
Chargers fans should be used to it though.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see a fan that isn't Taylor Swift being filmed, but fucking hell. So outside of the games, Goodell, he's here for another 3 years because he makes money.
He makes money for the owners.
Yes. Yeah.
He makes money as well.
Oh, yeah, he's...
he gets paid.
Yeah, they don't release how much he gets paid, but...
Didn't they work at it was like about 20 million a year or something?
I think it's more.
A lot,
30.
is it? Yeah.
But then if he's bringing in, several billion a year for the NFL, it's kind of like money.
Personally doing that?
Well, I think when he first started, a lot of the kind of the big jumps in revenue that the NFL made are down to kind of his leadership and what he's put in place.
Yeah.
And global expansion is under his remit. Like before he was in place, they weren't playing any games in London.
Yep.
And certainly not playing any games in Germany. Now we've got 3 in London, 2 in Germany. Rumours of them going to Spain. We've had Mexico games.
Yep.
It won't be a surprise to see a Chinese game at some point, realistically.
I'm sure Saudi will want it eventually.
Japan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, I just looked. In 2010, they were making $8 billion. last year, 21 billion.
Yeah.
So, it's he's making bank.
21 billion.
Yeah.
There's inflation in there, isn't there?
Well, still. It's not UK inflation, though.
Compounded as well. You seen them payday loans? That compounded interest goes right up.
If I knew how much you earn, I'd be a bit more thing. But yeah, we just have to thing. So,
if he's staying, can they sort out the celebration rules? Because, did you not see Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
And obviously he got flagged for that, and he'll probably get a fine, won't he?
Oh, he'll definitely get a fine for it.
Just for doing a backflip.
Well, no, he's using a prop.
I know, but who cares? As long as the prop's not offensive.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, if he's staying, can he sort that out? Because it's a bit of fun in the NFL, isn't it? So, what's the issue?
Paul's mentioned it before, but the taunting rule.
If it's a dildo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. If he's waving a dildo around, that's a prop that shouldn't be there, right?
A gun.
That's absolutely fine. A gun, yeah?
Fair.
But
when he brings out a crossbow and shoots the opposition coach, I'll go, do you know what? Taunting 15 yards.
You've taken it too far
but
now.
to take someone's phone and do a backflip with it, I'm not sure who that hurts.
No.
Because that's just going to get more views, isn't it, on YouTube, which helps the NFL.
Yeah.
It's madness.
Paul's always...
So, dildos.
No dildos.
No crossbows.
Look, no sex... If you can't
twice.
take it on a plane, you shouldn't be allowed to celebrate with it. If you can take it on a plane, then you're allowed to use it, I think, as a prop.
I think there is generally a thing, isn't it? You can only thrust twice. You can't thrust 3 times.
Yeah.
It's just mad.
Which is just ridiculous.
Paul's mentioned it before, the taunting rule. You can't taunt a thing, but if you make an interception, you can then the whole defense do the electric slide in the end zone, which is pretty taunting. It needs fucking off quite frankly. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
So if he's staying, he needs to work on some bits, bring it into the modern times as well.
Sort out the whole gambling thing as well.
Yeah,
just ban players from gambling, or don't have these complicated rules like you can't bet on this sport in this building on this particular day.
Yeah, it's just ban it
when the sun's up. Just ban it.
Yeah, you can't bet on NFL, but you can bet on other shit.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Yeah. So next week? I'm trying to think what date is. The trade deadline.
31st October.
31st October. 2 weeks.
We've got 2 weeks.
I've got one first. I think McCole Hardman
Is he going to join the Chiefs?
going to go back to the Chiefs.
Do you want to let John finish the question first?
So, who is a candidate for a trade? With 2 weeks to go, who do you think? Look, let's not waste our time on small fry like McCole Hardman. Actually, I had mentally thought, I think actually the Chiefs could do with someone like McCole Hardman back, because
I don't know if it's McCole Hardman though. They could do a receiver. I think they need a.
Yeah, he did okay there, didn't he? Second round pick, he was for them in 2019 or whatever it was.
I think they could do more with a DeAndre Hopkins type receiver.
Yeah,
anyone could do with a DeAndre Hopkins type receiver.
Sorry, yeah, no, that's a fair shout. They could do more with a second Kelsey. Go and get Zach Ertz from the Cardinals. Play with a 2 tight end system and have a genuine other tight end receiving option.
Go and get Juju back.
I have heard rumours of Juju.
Yeah.
So I can see that one.
Yeah. I can. Well, definitely I can see McCole Hardman because he has joined the Jets.
Whilst we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, literally. I've just
Derrick Henry.
It's for a 6th round pick.
I'm going with the swapped picks. It wasn't even for a 6th round pick.
They swapped a 2025 7th round pick and McCole Hardman for a 6th round pick. He's not really been playing this season for them. So.
No, he doesn't play for the Jets. Derrick Henry will be the next one.
Okay.
I think his value might be coming to an end. If I was the Titans, with where they're at, I'd be trying to get some value for Derrick Henry.
Who's going to take him? I've got one team in mind.
The Bills.
Yeah.
Lions.
Or the Lions.
If their players are
it depends on how bad their injuries are.
Or the Eagles.
Sorry?
The Eagles won't.
I know the Eagles won't, but
Not sure they can afford him.
I think the Bills is a good shot, just because. All right, you've got a couple of running backs there, but they're not. If Derrick Henry goes into that running back stable, he is immediately RB1.
Oh yeah.
Whereas if he goes to the Lions, you're like, David Montgomery's played really well. He's not going to be RB1.
I think the Bills, if they're seriously in win now, absolutely. Why not go and try and get Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
I think the Titans might be open to it.
I think the thing with trades at this time of year, isn't it? You're looking at which teams are contending, i.e. which teams need players and which teams are just going, right, we're done. Realistically, and, one for me, the defensive end of Carolina, Brian Burns.
Yeah.
He's wasted there.
The fact that they turned down the Rams trade a couple of years ago for 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick, they should have taken that at the time. But
so there you go. There's 2 from me, John.
Well, can I add the Broncos seem to be
anyone at the Broncos? Broncos
so
is a fire sale.
Pat Surtain is a good player, and someone maybe give a chance to Jerry Jeudy.
Yes, I think any of their wide receivers and Pat Surtain.
Yeah, everyone else is fucking shit.
Everyone else is just absolute wank. So there's no real point.
Yep. What about Kirk? He's coming to the end of his contract. Vikings are 1-5, 2-4, or something.
I think there's got to be an injury before that happens.
If the Jets wouldn't have been 3-3 with Zach Wilson looking almost competent, you could argue that, but I know it would just create further confusion down the line when Rodgers is back and stuff. But
it doesn't, does it? Because
Rodgers
is gone after the year.
Yeah.
So and that leaves Rodgers to take over next year. So
Kirk is going to get a 2-year deal
somewhere
at the Vikings.
I think he's gone. They've got to pay Jefferson next year.
He is not most of the problem.
I agree.
I don't think he's the problem, but I don't think
they'll give him a long-term contract, or if they do, it'll be one with loads of escape clauses. I don't think they've got an answer for next year. He'll be at the Vikings. I will put £5 on that right now.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Agreement.
Thank you.
There's 2 accords taken there.
Is that the first bet of the year?
It is the first bet of the year.
You lot have been a bunch of pussies then. Where's all your bets? We're still waiting for Paul to pay up, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think he was trying to get double or nothings and stuff, but
everyone just wants their money.
Well, no one's been fucking around to
collect
at the podcast to make fucking silly bets. Like Pat Surtain could I once I've mentioned them before. The Lions need to replace Emmanuel Mosley.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? That could happen as well. Not in the same conference. Depends if the Lions genuinely think they're in win now.
I think they could be in win for a while.
Yeah.
They've got quite a young squad, haven't they? Depends if they believe in Goff enough or not.
Yeah.
I think they do. But
who are you going to replace him with? Kirk Cousins? Same player, but older.
Older, yeah. No, I think Goff gets a friendly deal, like gives him a pay rise, but also leaves some space for Tim.
Yeah. What's he on, Goff? About 30 million a year?
I think about
very reasonable.
35. So a decent thing, but not.
He was on like Jimmy Garoppolo money, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Throw out another Cardinal here, Buda Baker.
Yes. Yeah.
I still think Zach Ertz is also a potential to get out there if someone's.
He's pretty old, Zach Ertz.
It's a good option. He had a good season when he went to the Cardinals last year. He could be, actually even going back to the Eagles before they would have signed Julio Jones. That could happen.
Yeah. Talking about old players that are still good, actually, we forgot to mention that Adam Thielen had a game this weekend.
Wait, Adam Thielen's had a season.
I know.
He's been brilliant.
Where the fuck has that come from?
Like, he's in the top 3 receivers. But
I know it's a very left field, but I just like...
On that subject then, because the Panthers are widely reported to be after a wide receiver.
Well, that's Jerry Jeudy
or Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton will move. Someone will have a go.
Yeah. Justin Simmons from the Broncos.
Nobody wants Russell Wilson, even though his stats line up against Mahomes quite nicely this year so far.
Russell Wilson's not the issue in Denver.
No.
It's the defense.
The defense.
And the running game.
He'll still end up leaving, though.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're potentially right there.
He could end up at the Panthers.
Well, I was looking at teams that are possibly like a quarterback away.
We love that saying, don't we?
We do.
Who's a quarterback away? So we've got,
and it's not. I'm not saying, but I'm saying if the Falcons had a quarterback who could throw the ball, they'd be like they're in a shit division.
What about if they went for Kirk Cousins?
I was about to say Kirk Cousins.
Do you know what?
Justin Fields. Like there's options that are better.
So much of it is Bijan though.
Oh, I know.
It doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't matter.
No,
but if they can use Pitts and Drake London and
defense is playing well.
Defense is great.
They're not in a tough division. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Occasionally, I do say something sensible.
Every so often, you come out with something. It's like,
yeah
that is actually.
Well, they were fine with Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
weren't they?
They were.
Could Kirk Cousins be Matt Ryan?
But I know they've got Derek Ridder, but Desmond Ridder.
Derek Ridder.
I've been calling you Desi Rids for so long. I forgot his actual name.
He was terrible.
But they're not. They're because they're not shit enough to get one of the leading quarterbacks. The one time they were in that space to do it, they got Pitts. As it turns out, I think by that time, that all they could have had was Mac Jones. So,
who knows?
But yeah, I think the Falcons, if they could get a quarterback.
Well, you mentioned just now. What about Justin Fields? I know he's just dislocated his thumb.
I'm not sure Chicago wouldn't move on for him.
Well, none of the people who are in charge didn't pick him.
Yeah, they're hurtling towards a top 2 pick in the draft.
It's supposed to be a good quarterback class, isn't it?
They could have
the top 2 picks.
Yeah,
because they've got who is it? The Cardinals,
Panthers.
Sorry, yeah, they got the Panthers first round pick as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could then deal Justin Fields for third round pick.
They could get a selection of picks. Yeah. Why not? Like, you're not going anywhere.
Right. I like Kirk Cousins there. That's a good shout. But if you put Justin Fields in with Bijan Robinson, Carl Pitts, Drake London.
Oh, yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
It is. And he would fit the Arthur Smith sort of wet dream of an offense.
Absolutely.
Just running the ball.
I mean, he had Marcus Mariota for a good few years, both in Tennessee, but also in Atlanta. He can work running quarterbacks.
Yeah. I think we'll see. There's 2 weeks still to go. Yeah. But we'll bring it up again next week in case Paul won't have it. Paul's not here. But in case Griff
might have an opinion.
Griff might have some...
right now, he's screaming at the podcast, we've missed someone really obvious, and he's sitting in his
in terms
lab.
of trade.
Yeah, he's sitting in a lab going, what about? And which could be null and void.
Well, it's because he's probably thinking that the Patriots have got something to offer when they haven't. There's nothing that anyone wants there.
Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne? God.
Like Uche.
Who's the defensive player who always wears the red sleeves?
Judon. He's injured.
Judon.
He's injured.
But he's still a player. He's played well in New England since he got there.
What about Kyler?
No.
He's just been activated off the...
Yeah.
Off IR?
Yeah.
So
He'll end up getting dumped for almost nothing. He'll be part of a multi-trade, he will.
Yeah. Trent Brown's at the Patriots. Decent offensive lineman.
Yeah.
When he's at the Patriots. Average everywhere else.
Yeah, but...
Do you think Bill will let that piece go, though? I'm not sure.
But then that comes down to what we're discussing, like if they decide to get rid of Bill and then just have a fire sale and get rid of everyone, start again, burn the whole thing down. You could see players like Brown, like Hunter Henry, Jalen Mills, Juju.
It's always that classic, though, isn't it? Who are you going to replace him with?
Other people,
Other people, yeah.
No, I'm thinking other people that
Eric
are
Bieniemy.
available.
No, I think he's wedded to the Commanders.
Yeah. But other people that are available, Hunter Renfro hasn't really done much this season, but has a couple of good years.
He's one of those sneaky good wide receivers, isn't he? Doesn't look like a
Oh,
wide
I've not
receiver.
heard his name in fucking ages.
Yeah, literally.
He had a good couple of seasons.
Had a good couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Even last year he weren't bad. This season he's just absolutely anonymous. But
They got rid of Derek Carr.
yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo and then Brian Hoyer.
Yeah.
We didn't mention Brian Hoyer play at the weekend.
We need to.
He beat the Patriots.
Like, of course
Look,
he did. He's been playing
he's a
against the Patriots. Even when he was at the Patriots, he played against the Patriots.
Yeah.
All he did was practice like the opposition teams. He knows exactly how to beat the Patriots.
I mean, Derek.
What
Brian
the fuck
Hoyer.
is wrong with you?
I just want to call everyone Derek.
Derek Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer is a hero of mine because just how quickly he ruined Gary's day when he went out to San Francisco. Was it like the first play he threw a pick six?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But it was a great game.
It was a great. Oh, I remember. Like it was a
It was
really.
like 40 odd to 40 odd. We lost
Yeah.
right at the end, didn't we? It was,
Yeah, like it was the early Shanahan years, wasn't it? When you were
Yeah, it
just
was a
losing.
Thursday night game. Yeah, it was a great night. It was cracking
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, I was watching at home because I was like, oh, I wonder if, just in case like Gary shows up on the TV or something. And then the first thing that happens is Brian Hoyer throws into a ram, wasn't it?
Yeah, against the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah, great, but yeah, he did win this weekend. But I think everyone but the Giants and the Panthers are probably going to beat the Patriots this season.
Always made me wonder why the Raiders had Jimmy Garoppolo and then didn't bring in a proper backup.
We've all seen it for years, haven't we?
Exactly.
Like,
It's not a new thing that he gets injured.
I honestly don't understand why Mitch Trubisky's not playing in this league at the moment. I said to John, when you were talking about the best backups in the league or whatever it was a couple of weeks ago, and I said to John, we all miss Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah,
Still at Pittsburgh, yeah.
He's still there. Like he took the Bears to the playoffs.
yeah.
Like,
It was a double doink away from
that wasn't
a
on
championship
him.
game.
yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, hold on, like
I always liked him.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just another Cousins. He's more mobile than Cousins. He's more honestly, like I say, they move on from quarterbacks so quickly. He is way better than a lot of quarterbacks playing in this league right now.
Yeah, he is. He really is. Okay. So let's look ahead to the Week 7 games. So Thursday night, Jacksonville at New Orleans. I mean, yeah. We'll have to bring it up again. We'll have to bring it up.
I like the Jags. I think the Jags are now on that upward swing. But the Saints are just dire this year.
So bad.
Yeah,
They can't get the ball into the end zone. Like they get all the way there, and it's like you got Kamara, you got Olave, you got Thomas.
yeah, but he's not the real Michael Thomas.
Yeah, but still, you still got Olave and you got Kamara.
Is that enough these days?
And
You look at the-
and you've got 50% of what Thomas was.
You look at the top performing offenses. Yeah,
They've got Derek
Ayuk,
Carr.
Debo,
Derek Carr's
McCaffrey.
terrible.
No, I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
they've got more options, more weapons. If you were playing against the Saints, you would make sure you double manned Olave, wouldn't you?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd be like, right, okay, let's try and keep Kamara quiet. They'd be your two objectives. So you can't say they've got Olave.
I think Kamara's
You know,
past it. But
You go to Miami and they've just got like fucking hell. Who do we fucking mark? And then you go to the Niners and you're like, fucking Debo's turned up here and Ayuk's fucking down there. Oh, and there's CMC. Fucking give up. Do you know what I mean? But they don't have that. They just don't. They haven't got enough on offense.
And so, any other games that are wetting your whistle this weekend?
well, we mentioned it. Miami, Philadelphia.
Yeah,
That's game of the week, isn't it? Should be.
Well, it's Sunday night, late Sunday night our time, unfortunately. So we're not there.
Not going to see that. Chargers Chiefs should be high scoring.
it's normally a good game. But
Chargers normally have their number as well.
yeah, we'll
Chargers
see.
need to win that game, really.
They absolutely do.
So I should mention on the bye this week, the Bengals, the
Cowboys.
Cowboys, the Titans, Jets, Panthers, and the Texans.
Bengals need to come back off that bye and really fucking motor.
Move on, yeah.
Vegas at Chicago.
I mean, fuck it.
There's this week's toilet bowl.
Rams Steelers a few years ago would have been a good game.
It would have, yeah. But
now I'm not so sure.
Detroit Baltimore could be.
I was just thinking.
No. What did I say?
Yeah.
Ravens are dull as shit. So
Oh, I know, but the Detroit are fun. So, like, can Detroit bring the Ravens up, or will the Ravens bring the Lions
the Ravens
down?
will try and smother them.
They can. Like that's what they do.
Do you know in their last 16 games, the Lions are 13-3?
Yeah, because they're great.
That's
really good.
That's how good they've been.
Browns at Colts. Colts have not got Anthony Richardson for the rest of the year now because he's gone for shoulder surgery.
Yeah, I assume they're. He needs some time.
Who's the backup there? Minshew.
Yeah.
So we've got Minshew mania all year now.
All year round.
Has he still got his dodgy handlebar tash?
I think so.
Oh, he wouldn't get rid of that.
You know, a whole year of Minshew. Are you prepared for it, John?
Well, luckily because he's not the Jags, I can take Minshew mania a bit better because it was the Jags thing that was annoying me more than anything. But
he's done well this year as well.
He looks fine. Like he's not helped by the cast around him sucks.
Yeah.
But Zach Moss looks good. Jonathan Taylor's back.
Yeah, but he had to throw it 55 times at the weekend.
Yeah.
When you got those two running backs, like, what are you doing?
Losing.
Well, yeah.
Getting behind early, and then you having to throw the ball.
Exactly that. So, I'm sorry, I didn't look. They lost.
Did you just go?
I did. They lost to the Jags. The Jags.
Like I said, Jags on an upward swing.
Yeah, Jags on an upward swing. So
That's my favourite bit of the podcast.
Yeah. I've said that now. The Jags are going to lose this weekend. Who are they playing again? They got the Thursday night, against the Saints.
Well, the best thing about Jags Saints is hopefully we'll see lots of replays of a few years ago where the Saints. It's about like 2003 or something like that.
It's a long time ago.
The Saints were down 13-20 with the last play of the game. Like one of those plays which just lots of laterals, and they scored like a play out of nothing. It was just, and then they went and missed the extra point extra. So it was absolutely pointless. If you have not seen it, check it out. It's one of the funniest things in the world.
That is brilliant.
But yeah,
imagine being that kicker.
So, our usual awards for the week. So sweetest play,
that block,
the block, or the
Pierce catch.
Pierce. That was nice.
Pierce one-handed catch. That was really nice.
The Bengals interception.
Yes, I was just looking who it was.
So I've got Britt.
Cam Taylor Britt.
As soon as I mentioned Britt, all I could think of was Britt Eklund. I was like, I'm sure it wasn't her.
John's gone back 60 years.
But yeah, Cam Taylor Britt. That was
diving catch.
Yeah,
interception.
Other than that, anyone else? Any more?
Stood out.
I'm going to go with Cam Taylor Britt.
Yeah.
But you're going to Pierce, but you outvoted. So sweetest play of the week, Cam Taylor Britt. What else?
Hottest seat.
I still think it's Chargers.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, bad loss for them.
Yeah.
So just not getting enough out of Justin Herbert.
Nope.
Yeah, Brandon Staley.
It's got to be in it. Bill's Bill. You know, like you can say what you like. He's not going to get sacked after 6 games of the season. It's just not. So yeah, Chargers.
Chargers, fair enough. MVP of the week.
Jared Goff.
I mean, I struggle to argue.
Wow.
Mostert.
I say Mostert.
Oh, Mostert was good. I was going to say Travis Kelce.
Oh no, we don't want him getting any more fucking PR.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, but 9 targets, 9 catches, 124 yards.
Didn't Mostert get 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, Mostert got 3 touchdowns.
Oh, I'm just throwing out an option.
Fuck off, Jim. You were outvoted.
It's fine. He's on my fantasy team. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I'm not giving it to Travis Kelce. He was
like a normal week. 120 yards for Kelce. Like, that's literally like a normal week.
Hang on, what about Miles Garrett?
Miles Garrett was good.
I always have to throw in a defensive player.
Mostert.
All right,
Mostert.
You're outvoted, John. Me and Gary already said Mostert.
Well, fine. Fuck you guys. On that note, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you next week. Until then, goodbye.
Bye.